They may go by just Vegas, but the Avs are about to hand them that loss. The Avs are back at home for the first time in a while, trying to pick up a win and get back on track. This is the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. Let's start the show. The Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships, for the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by Coors Light. You got me, Rudo, and back on the show, AJ Hafley, returning to the pregame show for once in his life. AJ, how you doing?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. This is probably the one aspect of podcasting I didn't miss much.
That's why we had to bring you back for that part.
Yeah, jumping back on in the middle of a watch-along was a lot more fun, where I could talk about whatever I wanted, but doing a pregame show is kind of like, great. This is like the eating vegetables of podcasting.
Well, we can play it a little fast and loose with this pregame show maybe today, but look, Avs versus Vegas, you just saw the Avs implode the other night against Tampa. What is it about this team and its inconsistency this year? Are we really just going to sit here and continue railing on goaltending? Obviously, there were a lot of other problems the other night. When do alarm bells start going off, or do you think this team is still going to put it all together?
I think there's a good chance that they put it together, but I do think that the faith in that is shaky-ish right now.
Sure.
The injuries are a part of it, obviously, but it's more than anything else. It's just that they don't have the time anymore. The runway is gone. The two of the teams in their division have gotten off to blistering hot starts in Minnesota and Winnipeg, and that has made their life, more than anything else that they could have possibly done, that alone has made their life a lot more difficult. So it's really just that they need to be getting to playing 650 plus hockey for the rest of the year, for the rest of this year. They got to get to it like now.
Yep. Yeah, I've been saying it for a couple of games. They need to put 500 in the rearview mirror, and to do that, they need to get a win tonight, essentially. With Vegas, obviously, they've been off to a good start. We can pull up my stat pack here, though, that it maybe makes me think Vegas is overperforming a little bit. Their possession numbers are actively pretty bad. Despite that, they're still efficient. When they do shoot, it tends to go on net. They do a good job of getting shots on goal, even if they don't possess the puck very much. With that being said, at 5-on-5, they're not a particularly good hockey team. Their expected goals is under 50%. So you should be beating this team at 5-on-5. However, they have an elite power play, one spot better than the Avs in the top three. You cannot be taking bad penalties against this team. And then the guys at the top, MacKinnon and Jack Eichel, have had very, very similar seasons. They both played 22 games, so you can compare them straight up. One more goal for Eichel, 2 more assists for Mac, who has a slight edge there. The superstars, particularly for the Avs are going to need more out of Nathan MacKinnon tonight. AJ, when you look at some of the advanced analytics for the Avs this year, they feel like a bit of an up and down team. Now, obviously, a lot of that down is things like save percentage and their goaltending, but how much room do they really have to improve when you look at some of the possession metrics and things like that?
I think if you look at the macro numbers for them, you're pretty happy with them. It feels pretty good where they're at, that you can always get better. And if you're not first, you can always continue to improve. And if you were in first, you could be like, great, let's just continue to get better. Let's put distance with the rest of the pack. But really, I think that the macro numbers are all pretty good, but the problem is not so much that they're giving up so many chances. It's that if they give up 6 high danger chances, 4 of those 6 are absolutely like perfect, easy tap ins, like great.
Expected goals are 0.8 on those things.
Exactly, like S tier scoring chances. Like we don't have a thing to call them that they're the absolute tip top of scoring chances that don't include empty netters and breakaways.
Yeah.
So it's you're talking about that just has to improve. The play in front of their own net. 2 guys in particular, Sam Girard, Cale Makar. They have to get better in front of their own net. They just have to. Devon Taves has been uncharacteristically weak in front of his own net this year. That's got to get better. So I would say that needs to be the major focus more than the overall picture of, oh, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. That's it right there. Yes, you need saves, but you also need to make the life on your goaltender just a touch easier by discontinuing to allow those types of scoring chances.
I mean, certainly after last game, I don't know that their defense can play any worse, so it's got to get better than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say. It's easy after the last game. It's like everything can get better, right? Yeah. Everything can get better.
Yeah.
Or is it one thing from last game that you're looking? I mean, Ivan, you're like,
yeah, that's about it.
Goal,
you can keep banking them in off of skates. Keep doing it, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely. Score them off of other players. Just have that be your brand.
If it works, bro. I'm not going to knock it. The other side of this, the forward side, and I wanted to get your thoughts on the version of Nathan MacKinnon we're getting this year. Obviously tied for the league in points. Unbelievable, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to lose my mind if he passes it out of the slot 3 more times tonight.
Yeah, there was one thing about... We always talked about as he was a lower percentage shooter than you would expect for a guy that scores 40 goals.
Sure.
This was the conversation that a lot of us were having, like, old friend Jesse Montano would say, are you serious? He scores 40 goals a year. You want to tell me he's not an elite shooter? And my argument was he shoots 10.5% every single year. Like, for a high-end goal scorer, that's not great.
Yep.
And this year, we've seen him eliminate a lot of the easy saves that he gave goaltenders. But the problem is that those easy saves haven't turned into harder saves elsewhere. Right. They've turned into turnovers. And that, I think, is the thing that you don't want to see continue, or you want to see, like, meet somewhere in the middle. And unfortunately, as we've seen in Nathan MacKinnon's entire career, he is a creature of extremes only. He only does extreme outcomes. So it is tough to imagine that he's going to find that midpoint. But this version of him drives me crazy. The older version of him drove me crazy.
Just in different ways,
It's just a couple of different things causing my insanity. I wish he would give a more honest effort defensively, more than any of the shit that he's doing with the puck. Just give me an honest effort defensively, please.
Fair enough. We are on the analytics side of it. Of course, we have Giz and Eric too. Maybe a little bit more on the eye test side. Let's hear from Giz in Hockey in the Rockies.
Hey guys, it's Gizmo, and it is a Colorado Avalanche game day, and you know what that means. It's time for a little bit of hockey in the Rockies. The Vegas Golden Knights in town on a snowy day before Thanksgiving game. It's going to be a late one at Ball Arena tonight, by the way. Puck not dropping till around 8:22 Mountain Time, so make sure you get some coffee in you. Our man Big E is out in Boston, but Eric, the first question is, it's the first game back after a lengthy road trip. They call it a trap game. Myth, fiction, fact that it's always a difficult game physically and mentally?
Oh, guys, it's real. I tell you one thing, it is real. A little different for teams that play in the West, having to deal with the time zones and those longer flights. In the East, it's a little bit different. But when you go on a road trip of that length, 7, 8 days, 9 days, whatever it was, and your body gets acclimated to the eastern zones, or 2-hour zone, 2-hour time difference, it makes a difference. You get home a couple days ago late. You got a day off yesterday. You haven't seen the family in a long time, which is awesome because you want to get your mind away from everything else and you want to just deal with your kids, your wife, whoever it is. It's kind of nice. Get away from the rink, get away from hockey, and then you go right back at it this morning with a morning skate and then a late start tonight. Mountain time, 8 o'clock, more like 8:20, right? We all know that's a national game, so it just does a lot to your body, a lot of dehydration from the flight, a lot of mileage this past week. Your body and your internal clock is just a little different. It's a little off. So it is, it's not fiction, it's truth. It's a tough game to play for the Avalanche tonight. It's circled when you look at it in the summertime when the schedule comes out. You look at that one, you're like, oh boy. Again, coaches aren't going to come out and say, oh my God, we are done tonight, we're cooked. That's not how it works. You're professionals, you do everything. What I'm trying to say is you're going to have to follow the 3 keys I'm going to lay out that I laid out earlier for the game plan tonight. And you know damn well that that's what the coaches staff are preaching tonight because it's a tough one to play. You got to make sure that it goes the right way from the start, and you don't want to let that one get away from you early.
Yeah, so with that being said, E, what do the Colorado Avalanche need to do in order to sort of offset that?
Well, I mean, things that you can do, you know what I mean? As I said, as I allowed earlier, it's a fact and it's not fiction. Things you can do is really stay positive and know that, things might need to happen on the ice for you to stay in it and not let the game away slip from you. So you're going to need some saves from the start. You're going to need to play with the lead. We all know that's a different type of game, playing with the lead. You're going to need the crowd behind you. I got my old-time jacket here. You know what I mean? Let's bring the paw back. Let's bring the energy back. The ghosts of Ball Arena coming back alive. You're going to need some puck luck. The crowd behind you, and at the end of the day, it's a privilege to play in the National Hockey League, and you don't let a schedule, meaning the timing of that game, which is tough. Everyone goes through it. Every team goes through it. I'm not saying the Avalanche are the only ones. It just happens that tonight is a tough one. So you stay positive, you do the right things, you rally behind the crowd. Crowd's very important tonight.
Alrighty, thank you, buddy. That is it for Hockey in the Rockies. The Vegas Golden Knights in town before Thanksgiving. Again, puck drop at 8:22. Make sure you tune in for the pregame show with Rudo. That's on at around 7:30.
Thank you very much, Kiz. AJ, we were just talking about it behind the scenes there. I want to get your take on it.
Yeah.
Can the Avs just start in the second period? I mean, what are the rules on being able to avoid that disaster for the Avs?
Yeah, the last game I was like, guys, this might be taking the whole we're a second period team thing to an extreme when you go into it down 5-1. But it turned out that was just going to be an utter nightmare of a game. So
Yep.
Great.
It was bad.
I honestly don't know why that is. I know some people attribute it to coaching, like, oh, okay. But if it was the reverse, if the Avs were starting and having wonderful first periods and bad second periods, the criticism would be that the coaching staff can't adjust to anything. So it's kind of on the guys on the ice to go out and actually play with a little bit of jump at the start of games. Be committed right from the game. Stop working yourself into a game. Now, having goaltending helps because if Alexander Georgiev goes out and gives up 2 goals in the first 6 minutes, you're kind of in that same mindset of like, oh my God, are you kidding me, dude? Yeah. And I've had a couple of conversations around the Avalanche organization, and I can tell you that frustration is real with what's going on in net. It is,
I'm sure with both
very
goaltenders,
real.
yeah.
And I'm starting to worry that it's going to get in guys' heads and it's going to become a real factor.
It might be already, if we're being honest about it.
It genuinely, like, we're a quarter of the way through a season. That's a long time for this to have gone on. So
yep.
I'm nervous that an early goal, let's just say first 10 minutes, an early goal like that
deflates them. Yep.
It definitely has an opportunity to put a hit into their psyche. And look, this is a team that's been elite at Ball Arena not that long ago, last year. Give the crowd something to get pumped up for. Give the crowds a reason to be into it. Make it a hostile environment. Too often, Ball Arena turns into almost a catacomb when things don't go well. It's so quiet. It becomes so easy for opposing teams to play there, and I just don't want to see that. I want to see them come out, even if they don't score early, man. A scoreless first period, 0-0 at the end of the first period would feel like such a huge win, honestly.
Yep, I agree. Just don't put yourself in a hole. You make your life so much harder so regularly, this team does in the first period. And you touched on a couple of things that'll pop up here in Big E's 3 keys. So let's throw it over to him and see what the keys are to this ridiculously late start.
Here we are, Big E's 3 keys against the Vegas Golden Knights. Key number 1, don't shoot yourselves in the foot. A lot has been made. It's their first game back after a lengthy road trip in the East, so a lot needs to happen for the Avalanche to have a successful way tonight, but no freebies, no BLTs, right? No blue line turnovers. We like the BLT, the food. We don't like the BLT turnovers. So let's make sure that there's no useless penalties, no free gifts. I know it's Thanksgiving and everybody's thankful and everybody's nice, but tonight everything has to be earned for the Vegas Golden Knights and not given. So we don't give up a silver platter tonight, and we are not nice. We just don't shoot ourselves in the foot. Key number 2. We stay away from it usually, but you got to win the special teams battle tonight. It's just a key facet of the game tonight. On the power play, on the PK. Let's make sure you're sharp, you're firm. You're all on the same page. Communication is key tonight, but the special teams tonight will be a dominant factor in who wins this game. Key number 3, you need a brick wall in net. We stay away as well, and the keys on goaltending, but tonight, the situation you're in, everybody's going to have no legs. You need to get big saves, especially at the start. You need to go get the lead. You got to let your team to get their legs from underneath them. I don't know what to tell you. It just needs to be stellar, especially in the first period. And then whatever's behind me, like stone or brick or whatever, you got to put that in front of that tonight, and nothing needs to go in. You got to be almost perfect. You got to make sure that you carry your team. You be the backbone of the team tonight in net.
So there you go. Goalie's got to be your backbone. I agree with that. For me, the Avs have not gotten enough of that over the last 2 years, if we're honest about it. So, could use some improvement there.
Your goalie has to have a spine before he can be the backbone, man.
I mean, isn't a spine made of backbones? So, all right,
Saying.
Fair enough. No argument there.
Stop throwing little fits during games, brother.
Well,
Leave the fit throwing to me on Twitter, okay? Stop doing it on the ice.
I think that could go for more than just the Avs goaltender, to be fair, over the last handful of games. We've seen Miles Wood break sticks. We've seen Nathan MacKinnon throw the head back 3 times a night, basically. So it's a pretty common occurrence.
Look, if Alexander Georgiev was throwing a fit in net and he was playing like Connor Hellebuck, we'd be like, wow, passionate.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. When you throw a fit and then you go out the next game and give up 6, then you got a problem.
As a team, you have an 850 save percentage. Just
seems
stop.
bad. Seems
Stop
bad.
being mad at the skaters.
Stop the puck. We do have a super chat here, $5 from Banks, who says, so good to see AJ back. Missed you, AJ. Happy Thanksgiving to the whole DNVR crew. Thank you very much, Banks. Appreciate you. Look, when it comes to the Avs this season, I guess I want your opinion on this, AJ. It started the course correct a little bit. Obviously, the game against Florida, they scored at a ridiculous clip, but they really have had especially at 5-on-5, a subpar shooting percentage. How much of that is a lack of shooting ability to finish plays, as opposed to them passing up on quality opportunities to maybe make that one extra pass that's unnecessary, whether it's too fancy or just a bad decision?
Well, we're talking about 15 games this year. You've spent pretty much without your top 6.
It's true. It's a fair point.
And not even just that, but you're you're going all the way down. And Logan O'Connor's annual icy cold offensive
just started the
stretch,
season with it. Yeah.
he just went the first 20 games with it. All right. So I do think that you need to finish a little bit better, but I think that the talent is there to finish better now. And we've pretty much run out of. All right, Val Nichushkin has gotten his 5-ish games to work his way back into it. It sucks with Jonathan Durant being out again.
Yep.
But Arturi Lehkonen is back. Mikko immediately started to catch fire as all these guys were coming back. Like, I want to see a little bit more from Casey Middlestad at 5-on-5. It's gotten a little quiet over the last 6 or 7 games. It's an area of I think naturally it's going to come up because the talent is there. If Nathan MacKinnon decides to start shooting again, that should probably help it a little bit. But yeah, I think a lot of the shooting percentage stuff is just is more of a function of
The lineup
how
that
they
they've
were.
had, I'm sure.
Yeah, like how many AHL guys have been in their lineup this year, and now there's no excuses. If they don't drastically improve in that area, they're not dangerous.
I think that's a fair argument. To your points, unfortunately, Jonathan Drouin Bednar did confirm today that the injury is related to what was bothering him before. So we don't have full details, obviously, but it does not seem like it's good news for Drouin. We'll put it to you that way.
It's I can tell you what it is.
Sure.
It's a rib injury. He suffered a rib injury the first time, and then he re-aggravated it in the last game. So, Jonathan Drouin, week to week, in parentheses, ribs.
Yep, there you go. Is what it is. They do need to find a way to start producing, though, whether it's MacKinnon or whether it's the guys around MacKinnon now. Yes, losing Drouin isn't good, but you still have Middlestat. You still have Lehkonen. You still have Nichushkin. You still have, who am I forgetting? Someone.
I wasn't listening.
Rantanen.
I was reading the scroll.
Yeah,
on the bottom.
I know. You still have plenty of high-end goal scorers there that need to put the puck in the back of the net for the Avs. Not just on the power play where they've been very good, but at 5-on-5. They have to start not necessarily producing more, but producing at a better rate to their opportunities on net. I'll put it to you that way. So,
Yeah.
we'll see. Obviously,
I mean, you also do need like Parker Kelly and Logan O'Connor.
yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go. Yeah.
Your bottom 6 absolutely has to pick. Miles Wood, like those guys have to pick it up and help you out a little bit here. Ivan, Nikolai Kovalenko, all of those. Pick whichever like bottom 6 dude that you like. They've got to get it together. This will obviously get better when Ross Colton gets healthy, but by the time he gets healthy, somebody else can get hurt.
Yeah, who knows? Right. I think realistically, you should be asking 1 goal a night out of your depth as a whole. It's just the Avs are built to get 0 a lot of nights because their defense produces so much for them. But realistically, your forwards, you're supposed to score goals. Even if you are in the 4th line, you're supposed to score some of the time.
Yeah. And the defensive scoring for the Avs this year has obviously been wildly
Ridiculous.
misleading.
Yeah.
Cale Makar. Cale Makar has absolutely been historic to start this season. That has been a big driver of the offensive scoring. The only other guy that you really feel great about where they are offensively is Sam Girard. He's having, for my money, this is the best version of Sam Girard we've ever seen offensively.
I agree fully on that front. Taves has started to pick it up a little bit, but you still are looking for more there. Obviously, the rest of the lineup, production maybe not quite there. Even for someone like Malinsky, who, don't get me wrong, I think has been very good this year. The actual production numbers are not great. So
yeah, he needs to chip in a little bit of offense. That was a big thing that Oliver Shillington gave in the Florida game.
Yep.
Was that he defensively it was a little bit iffy, but offensively he was dynamic.
Yep.
And that's game changing with the way that Colorado's defense contributes to its offense. A guy that brings a dynamic element like that is going to get priority over the Calvin DeHaans of the world.
that's how it works. Points pay,
I
as
can
they
say that because Giz isn't around.
Unfortunately, I don't think Shillington is the answer for the defense, even with Giz not around. But
No.
it is what it is. Let's get over to my bets, where I dipped into some of the topics we were just talking about. Look, if you want to take Vegas to win the first period, if you think the Avs slow starts are going to continue, that's plus 120. But I do think the Avs need to see Middlestat pick it up, as AJ mentioned. An assist for him would be plus 130. And then I had a little bit of fun. I wanted to go with a big plus money bet, so I took exactly the 4-2 final for the Avs. I forget what the plus is on that. I can't see it, but plus 1,400. There you go. Perfect. Thanks. Whatever bets you're throwing down on this Avs game, make sure you're getting with Bet365, where it's never ordinary. So jump on with them. Use the DNVR 365 code to get $150 in bonus bets when you sign up. And, of course, when you do gamble with Bet365, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. We are still a good ways away from puck drop because this is a national game, but we are winding down our pregame show here. AJ, if you had to pick a guy, who's the guy tonight?
Georgiev.
Okay. Going with the goalie.
It's gotta be Georgiev. I know Eric talked about this a little bit, but the east to west travel, they've been out east for a week already. Their circadian rhythm is going to be in line with the Eastern time zone. Shout out
10
East.
10 o'clock right now, yeah.
Exactly. It's going to be 10:22 on their bodies when that game starts. That's about when they should be winding down for the night, not getting ramped up. This is essentially a road game. They fly into Denver, they play a game, and then they leave again to go to Dallas for Friday. So this is a de facto road game and a late game at that. That goes against all of their conventions. If this was an Eastern team coming to Colorado in this situation, we'd be licking our chops.
Yep.
They'd be in trouble. Instead, it's the Avs. The Avs are in trouble here. It's an uphill battle from jump. So that is the big challenge tonight. So it's got to be on Georgiev, because I think the skaters will certainly struggle.
I fully agree with everything you just said, but I also agree with what you said earlier in the night. Unfortunately, the situation the Avs are in this year, they don't have the room for that excuse to cost them a game. They have to start winning games regardless of the external factors like that. So they got to go out and overcome that a little bit. My guy, I'm going to take MacKinnon. Another cop-out answer, but you just need more production from the guy. He gets paid what he gets paid for a reason. He's the top scorer in the league, or at least points-wise, for a reason. The last handful of games, you haven't gotten enough out of him when it comes to production. He's not a guy that gets kept down like that very often, so let's see a multi-point night. Help the Avs put themselves in front instead of fall behind in the first period, especially. The only other thing... Go ahead.
With MacKinnon, it's the Florida game is anomalous. You got nothing meaningful out of Nathan MacKinnon, and you won pretty comfortably.
Yep.
That's not going to continue to happen. It's just not how you're built.
Yep,
It's just
correct.
It's not. You need him to set a tone for you. Your team is good enough around him now that they should be able to provide quality support, but it's got to start with him still.
Yep, 100% agree. It's a hockey team that needs Nathan MacKinnon to succeed, maybe more than anyone else on the ice. Nathan MacKinnon has to do it for this team. They can outscore their goaltending some of the time. They can outscore bad defense some of the time. They can find production from other areas than their depth. But if Nathan MacKinnon isn't getting you this depth or this scoring, it's very, very difficult for this team. So, just part of the reality of this Avs lineup right now. We are going to wrap things up here. Unfortunately, no watch along tonight because the Nuggets are also playing, so the studio is a bit crowded. So we won't be there for you, but we will be live post-game. Big E will be joining us. He will come talk Avs hockey, whatever happens, good, bad, or ugly. He's also, he worked for Vegas, too. He knows what's up over there. So make sure you tune into that. And, of course, keep your eyes peeled because Black Friday deals that are pretty good coming your way from DNVR very, very soon. So check those out. AJ, thanks for hopping on with us. We are out of here. This has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by Coors Light.
We all silly like the mayor.
Yeah.